Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. My name is Sandwich, on board with you. We're back in the saddle here up in the ECAC for college football 26. The second of two semesters these yearly sports titles face off in. Starting off with BigSneezy, took the podium in the fall semester just a couple months ago. Looking to take the field, potentially up their position on the podium here with a strong performance in the spring semester already. Slicing downfield up to midfield with that signature Notre Dame squad. We saw just how much of a problem BigSneezy can be with the dominant run game he's able to establish with this squad. Not the only post-university Eagle will be on board with tonight. So we have Adonis and BradSnappa with their second week of ECAC competition here as well. Starting it off with BradSnappa, who's looking to get scoring started for the post-university Eagles on stream. It's a one-play touchdown drive for BigSneezy, making it look easy early on here in the regular season. Of course, it's Swiss stage, so here in week 2, both players coming in 1-0. The Southeastern University squad. BigSneezy looking to get some revenge for fellow teammate Adonis. Took a forfeit L to this squad just last week. Adonis already, or BigSneezy rather, already starting off hot here in this one. Yeah, BradSnappa still yet to take the field. Adonis does look to be taking the field soon. We may be swapping over to his POV in just a little bit here. Want to see how BigSneezy gets the defensive game started. It's a 2-yard gain that time for the Fire. Still a lot of regular season between the field here before anyone has to worry about regular season, postseason seeding shenanigans. Of course, score differential, the tiebreaker here in the regular season. So piling on the points, deleting your opponent by massive margins, always going to be valuable. BigSneezy, two-way impact on full display here. A sack on third down, going to force a punt. We'll watch BigSneezy make this return. See about swapping to some of his fellow post-university Eagles here. No BigSneezy with that dangerous ground game, a threat on special teams. We already saw a nice return out to the 50 earlier on in this one. Going to cut it out to the left sideline before being brought down. No big gain that time. As we make a transition over, want to see where the remainder... Let's see where Adonis is at. Want to see where BigSneezy is at here. We're going to mute the audio to avoid the confusion. Adonis still taking the field. I believe as is BradSnappa. No, excuse me, as we will take a break from the BigSneezy show for just a moment. BradSnappa, who is on bit of a heater here early on in his matchup. And no, excuse me, BradSnappa still in the warm-up zone. Never mind. We got my apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I thought he was operating already against his opponent. An early start. Said that will give us a golden opportunity to return to the BigSneezy show. Adonis still going through pre-game adjustments and substitutions. So we will swap to him in just a little bit here. BigSneezy. Wildcat. Working in stride here. Already approaching the red zone deep in enemy territory at the 37. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Looking to turn the corner. Has one blocker to work with. You give him one blocker. He's able to take the rest of the field. It's another touchdown for BigSneezy and Post University. And longtime viewers are going to hear me say it ad nauseum. They've already heard me say it so many times during our fall semester, but just BigSneezy with the lead, such a problem. No problem running it repeatedly down the field. No shyness about that ground game. It's got him up to a 2-score lead. He will now take that moment to transition over to the Adonis shows. He has indeed taken the field here. As we get in here, just a moment to get our bearings on the scoreboard side of things. Scoreboard does appear to be correct. No, scoreboard is flipped. Excuse me. It's Adonis on that Oregon squad. Just as we hit the very professional transition there to get the scoreboards aligned here. Adonis, another player coming in with a chip on his shoulder, made it into the postseason in the fall semester. Couple rounds short of a podium finish. Looking to continue to maintain that high floor, potentially raise his ceiling with a deeper run into the playoffs. Coming into this week 0-1. He took a forfeit loss in week 1. Scheduling shenanigans, unavoidable here in college esports. 3rd and 1 comes up empty, but Adonis likes what he saw. He's going to stay out on 4th down. One in the backfield for Adonis. Quick throw on the drag route. Scott Benson with a reception and some room to run right up the field to the 10. Nobody's catching number 4. It's a touchdown for Post University, as Adonis strikes first here in this one. Not sure if he had possession of the football. We'll see here. Yes, he did start with opening possession with that long 1:18 drive to punch in the first points of this best of 3 series. We get the audio going out there here in this one. Everyone missing the crowd pop as Adonis ran off from that short reception on the drag route. Now, gotta have some two-way magic to blow these games wide open. It's Adonis' first possession on defense here. Another run, able to bounce it out, but just a 2-yard gain. Short gains on the ground here for Columbia College on this Ohio State squad. One in the backfield here for Columbia. Able to shrug off one defender. The cavalry comes in, stops him short of the marker. It's 4th and 2 now for Columbia College. Adonis ready to play 4-down football. Offense staying out on the field here for Columbia and Ohio State. On the drop back, bothering all the short routes over the top of the defense, able to haul it in just underneath the defense's noses there. Got a 20-yard gain to get up to the 44 now for Columbia College. Another run on first. A few yards there, up to the 40 now for Columbia. But both sides evenly matched here so far in this one, as Adonis forcing Columbia into a long drive here. One juke. Another juke past the first down marker. It's a 20-yard run on the ground there. Nice stick work from Columbia College to get deeper into enemy territory here. 1st and 10. Firmly in red zone territory. Another run on 1st and 10. No, it's play action and Adonis is all over it. It's a sack on the quarterback. Going to cut that gain they had on the last play basically in half. Sent back to the 29-yard line. Back to pass once more. Drag route, diving tackle, not going to be enough. Able to make a 3rd defender miss. The 4th one finally bringing him down. 2nd and 19 becomes 3rd and 2. Columbia College back on pace here on this drive. Hesitation move underneath from Columbia College. Adonis reading the cut to the left. Patience under center from Columbia College. And now it's 1st and goal from the 3. A nice B gap. No one able to touch the running back there in Columbia College, able to respond. It is all tied up at 7 apiece here in this one. We'll stick with Adonis here. Want to see how he responds. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Adonis giving and then taking that first punch here as we're all tied up at 7 apiece. Under center for Adonis's Oregon Ducks. Starting out at the 20-yard line. Finding a gap in that zone defense. Now cutting up the right sideline to the 43. He's doing well with that high-flying offense. You've seen him pile it on points-wise against opponents repeatedly. Those gashing attacks through the air, they're able to power that high-scoring offense. A run on 1st and 10. It's just a 5-yard gain there. Without concepts like this, doing such a good job to attack these gaps in the zones, but Adonis with no time to diagnose the defense. It's a sack on the quarterback and a loss of 11. 4-down offense may very well be the call here. But once more, the shotgun surgeon here. Able to find the gap in the defense on 4 verts, keep the offense moving. It's again once in the backfield for Adonis. It's another 1st down on the ground. It's been hit or miss this run game, but you got to have a strong run game if you're going to have folks commit. Send extra defenders, open up some space for that deep ball to work wonders. Once again, the check down to the running back, cutting back towards the center of the field. It's an 8-yard gain through the air there for Adonis as we approach the end of the 1st quarter. Both sides slow and steady looking to win that race. Here's where we've only got 1 score apiece as we approach the start of the 2nd quarter. Loaded line of scrimmage, just one in the backfield for Adonis, able to power through for the first, just 1 yard short of the end zone. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Columbia College able to put a stop to it that time on 1st and goal. On a similar formation, looking to catch his opponent off guard here. Audibling the coverage. Columbia College able to do well to respond. Able to bat it down as well on 2nd and goal. Like that play from Adonis, you come out in the same formation. Potentially trying to convince your opponent you're going triple or nothing. Columbia College able to stay ice cold on the defensive side of the ball. Adonis switching formations here on 3rd and goal. Just looking to make something work, but the defensive wall stays up for Columbia College. Intercepted at the goal line. Now Columbia going to be the one starting out at the 5-yard line here. Yeah, long touchdown drive for the Columbia College Cougars if they want to take the lead here in this one. Will be their first lead of the contest. Just a 1-yard gain that time on 1st. We'll take a brief intermission and we can find some time to see how our remaining Host University Eagles are doing. Columbia College shrugging off a couple defenders up to the 20 now. But a safety firmly out of everyone's mind here. Columbia College with some more room to operate behind and in front of them. They're going to get some more room behind them as they're already out at midfield to the 30. It's a foot race. The running back is tired. Some hesitation. Moves an extra block work. Oh my goodness. Roll out the red carpet on the ground game. No stamina, no problem. As Columbia College able to take the lead. What an Adonis had a chance there once we saw the running back out of stamina, but the hesitation might have been just what the doctor ordered. Gave more time to lay down the block. Get the couple remaining yards there. The Columbia College's first lead of the contest. We will transition out. Do want to see our remaining post-university Eagles are doing. Adonis is up $1 billion per usual. How does he do it? He's up 37-7. BradSnappa is still not in his game, so we are going to remain with the Adonis show for now. Look to switch back to BigSneezy, see if we can't watch him punch in that game 1 victory. Oh, we've got a late start for BradSnappa. Makes sense. He has not hit the field as we are already at 8:20. We'll wait just 10 minutes, see if we can't keep an eye on him, as at the moment he's just chilling at the main menu. Not exactly great TV. Speaking of great TV, Adonis, 2-minute warning and 3 timeouts to work with. Looking to approach halftime, all knotted up at 14 apiece. Streaking down the right sideline, the secondary just getting in there at the last moment, able to knock it down. The last possible second to make impact with the ball there. I like the heads-up play from Columbia College. Some folks in a position like that, they're going for the desperation interception. Columbia College looking to put some physicality on the receiver and force the drop. Nice extra block there at the second level for Adonis, able to grab him a first down up to the 32. Matriculating upfield in the enemy territory. Still a deceptive amount of game time left. 3 timeouts apiece, and the 2-minute warning could go a bit further if both squads would like. Adonis not going to rush us into the 2-minute warning. Wants to take one more play. It's like about a 7-yard gain there. Yes, sir, up to the 25 there. And out comes the 2-minute timeout. Adonis cannot let perfect be the enemy of good right now. Of course, you'd love it if you score with 000s. But you want to put points on the board by any means necessary. Damage as Adonis takes a sip of the yak up to the 9-yard line. Short catch. A little bit extra on the ground there. 1st and goal now for Adonis. Play fake. Dodges the only defender in the airspace for the touchdown. So now Adonis striking back, getting us knotted back up at 2 touchdowns apiece. 14 all as the kick is up and good. Both sides a little bit more familiar. The touchdown drive's getting a little bit shorter. Adonis still taking 1 minute and 11 seconds on that score. Of course, we did just see Columbia College score in a heartbeat, essentially 4 plays, less than a minute off of the game clock. This is an offense that will operate with the quickness if you let them. They're not looking for any excuse to slow things down. Damage on the ground game. Adonis able to shut them down, but not before Columbia pick up the first. Adonis not starting with the football in the 3rd quarter. It's so much more crucial. And he's able to shut down any scores here. At the very least, force a field goal. Neither side coming up with defensive stops just yet. We've seen this happen repeatedly. Longtime viewers are going to recall so many games that are lost, not because either side was absurd on both sides of the football, but because one side was able to maximize the possession, the time of possession, the timing of the possessions they have. Situations like this can be the difference maker. Motion pre-snap, and Adonis is all over it, usuring the extra man into the airspace. Not going to let the jet sweep create any problems. 4th and 6 now for Columbia College. They remain unfazed. Offense going to be out on the field here for the Cougars. Adonis with a chance to really take the reins on this one. A stop here already puts him in tremendous scoring position. And it'll be hands on the quarterback, going to force the incompletion, just what the doctor ordered. As Adonis now with the football. 2 timeouts left, 49 seconds. Plenty of time to punch in another score here for Post University. Keep the possession battle in his favor, even if he gives up a score to open the third quarter. Adonis coming away with the first defensive stop of the contest. He's got a couple blockers to work with and a head start on the right sideline. It's a one-play touchdown for Post University. Adonis going defense to offense in a hurry there. The 4th down stop. And the screen pass on the right sideline. Not quite a screen, had multiple blockers on that right side of the field. Did not need the whole line of scrimmage to run with him along that right sideline. Hardly took any time off the play clock. Blink and you miss it. Just 10 seconds ago, he lapsed on the play clock. Columbia College still had the football. We were still worried about their possession battle, but now they're looking to claw back up, potentially get knotted up here with 42 seconds left in the half. No time left to underestimate the opponent. Wow, tough catch through the contact. They'll haul it in for 6. Quick drop back. Open space here to run with. Adonis going to shut it down at the first level. The first defender is so crucial. Deceptively difficult tackle. One-on-one in open space. We've seen many a defender miss those there. That's a big stop for Adonis. Shut down the yards after the catch here. Going to need more of that magic. Adonis able to deliver. Forcing a timeout for Columbia College. Just no time left to work with. Adonis doing an excellent job keeping the football in front of him. Don't let Columbia College turn this into a foot race. Don't let them dictate when they get out of bounds. Adonis with an excellent sequence on the defensive side of the football. Hail Mary season for Columbia College already here with 12 seconds left to go. Adonis going to shut the valve on that spout immediately as he stumbles upfield down at the 27 now. 6 seconds left to go in the first half. Prevent look for Columbia College. Scoring certainly possible, but not going to be easy. Shrugs off the first defender before being brought down. Adonis liked what he saw there. Timeout is the call. Wants to run one more play before half. Went look once more for Columbia College. There's only 2 seconds left on the play clock. No secret about what's got to go down here. It's touchdown or bust as Adonis takes the penalty there. Perhaps too much patience. Adonis might be looking for more room for his receivers to run through. This would be a 76-yard touchdown pass. Adonis is able to get it to fly. Play action, but his opponent only sending 3 defenders. Have half the defense out in the secondary. Going to be a tough cover. Adonis can't quite diagnose that defense for a one-play touchdown. Adonis going to have to settle for a 1-possession lead, starting with the football on the defensive side. We will take a brief transition. Just want to catch the BigSneezy score. He's up 51-10 at half. It's not even halftime. 1 minute before the second quarter. We'll eventually catch the end of his matchup, but BigSneezy doing BigSneezy things. Notorious for making sure the score differential is no problem on his side. Adonis here already grabbed the first defensive stop of the contest in the last quarter. Needs more of that magic here to potentially blow this game wide open, make it a multi-possession deficit. Run out to the 40. Once more, Adonis able to keep the football in front of him. Run on 1st and 10. Adonis able to shoot the gap and turn that into a TFL. Looks like the B gap was open. Adonis shooting down the A gap to blow that one up behind the line of scrimmage. Another run on second down. Adonis and this Oregon defense is all over it. 3rd and 8 now for Columbia College. Firmly out of field goal range here. Columbia College not able to settle for a 3-point consolation prize. And it's another sack on the quarterback. Adonis is second of the contest. We've seen him get at the quarterback multiple times, forcing incompletions, forcing sacks, and this time it's a punt from the Columbia College defense. Adonis may just have the string of possession victories. He's looking to blow this game wide open. A touchdown here will make it a multi-score game. One in the backfield for Adonis. Feeling the pressure, trying to roll out of the pocket. It collapses around him. It's a 4-yard loss on the sack. Looked like Adonis was trying to spy the running back out of the backfield. Saw it covered. This time going to do damage over the middle of the field. Spins off one defender, shrugs off a second. Now a foot race down the left sideline, and nobody's catching that man. Another touchdown for Post University. Adonis opens up the largest lead of the contest. Once again, superb stick work, this time from Adonis. With the yards after the catch, spins off that first defender and off to the races. Adonis doubles his lead. Battle to get into this position, but 2-score game. Time on his side. Every single win will continue to be the cherry on top, just trying to outrun Columbia College in this foot race. They've got a 14-point head start here. Columbia taking their time to get onto the field here. Rolling to the right side, but nobody's open. It's another sack on the quarterback. It's a 7-yard loss that time. Very difficult to get repeated sacks on the quarterback in a game where your big man under center has omnipresence and can see everything around him. So very often we see hands on the quarterback and incompletions. Adonis doing a great job here in this game. Turning these hands on the quarterbacks into sacks. Loss of yardage. They once again try to go back to the well. Over the middle. Adonis able to shut it down. It's another punt for Columbia College. The wheels are falling off for this Ohio State offense. Adonis couldn't ask for anything better here. Forcing the issue on both sides of the football. Whole lot. His fingerprints all over that last drive. Sack on the quarterback. Multiple bat downs. That's on the user. Adonis doing a lot of the work himself here to open up this lead. Pocket collapsing around him. Adonis not going to let that one turn into a massive sack. Would have been a loss of 11. Instead, it'll be 2nd and 10. Heads up play from Adonis there to put out the fire just before it burned the house down. It's again only rushing 4. Adonis has more time to diagnose this defense under center. You're putting extra defenders in the secondary, but Adonis is able to attack them all the same. A massive gash upfield. It's 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. As Adonis now continuing to grow his lead. It's a touchdown on the ground there on 1st and goal. 35-14 will be your score following the PAT. Adonis and BigSneezy looking real good on both sides of the football here. 6-7-10 is the score up in BigSneezy's game. He's having one heck of a match. It's going to give us a golden opportunity swap over to the BradSnappa show, as we've already seen 2 post-University Eagles who are piling on the points. BradSnappa looking to join them here as he takes the field. It's going to have a high bar to live up to, as both post-university Eagles, his fellow post-university Eagles, have dropped a combined 100 in their game ones already. BradSnappa, much like Adonis, another player, took an L in week 1, looking to respond here, get into the W column here in week 2. Honestly, BradSnappa with a chip on his shoulder. Close but no cigar to the playoffs last semester. Looking to up that performance here, find his first berth into the second season of competition there in the playoffs. We do have some adjustments of the scoreboard. No, excuse me, the scoreboard this time perfectly fine. It will be Brad operating on this LSU squad. Saw a lot of this look from BradSnappa. Want to see him throw the football out. Yes, sir. As we mentioned, you got to live to fight another day. Not want to risk taking a sack. Would have pinned his offense even further back out on the field. 3rd and 12 now for BradSnappa from his own 23. Only sending 4, able to diagnose the gap in the middle to the big man. Up to the 42 now, reset down in distance for post-university. BradSnappa getting some breathing room as he approaches enemy territory. With the A-gap bottled up. Able to make something out of nothing. It's a 2-yard gain. That St. John Fisher defense doing an excellent job of diagnosing the coverage there. Out of the backfield. Another pair of yards for post-university now on 2nd down. It's like a loaded box here. Or St. John Fisher in this Miami squad. And able to diagnose that gap on the right side of the field. Not a wise decision to take something over the middle, so love the play from Brad there. Letting the play develop, letting the slant get just past that loaded box. The middle linebackers lying in wait like sharks out for blood there. That time on 1st and 10, a nice 7-yard gain. Keep Brad ahead of the sticks here on this set of downs. Once again, a lot of middle linebackers in the airspace. The secondary down low. Might be reading a run here. Want to diagnose the gap. Able to find it. Just short of the marker there, though, up at the 26. Everybody lining up at the line of scrimmage. Multiple players in the backfield for post-university. No secret where this football's going. It's just far enough for a 1st down. One in the backfield for post-university. They got to pick up the block. It buys just enough time for the 4-yard gain over the air. Loves the call there. You see 29 stepping up the running back by Brad. Extra seconds there on the completion. Doesn't quite look like numbers on the right side of the field. BradSnappa diagnosing that. Couldn't get to the second option. It's an incompletion. I like the heads-up play from Brad. He spotted it. Wasn't quite a numbers advantage on the right side of the field. Couldn't quite get to the second option. But similar to when he threw it away earlier, you're able to keep the play intact. Not quite what you wanted, but you don't lose anything that time on 2nd either. Great completion to the big man. Going to rumble upfield for the score. Looked like they sent everybody up to the line of scrimmage. The big man able to sneak out for the reception and the touchdown. PAT is up, and it is good as Brad gonna strike first here in the first quarter of play. A methodical touchdown drive, 3 minutes to put the opening points on the board here for Post University in this one. So we will take a brief transition. I just want to catch how the other games are proceeding. Both sides, both Post University Eagles have proceeded to blow up massive leads in their matches. 48-14 and 67-10 are your scores for Adonis and BigSneezy respectively. They both are still proceeding through their first games of these best of 3 series. 4-yard gain that time for St. John Fisher. Wealth of time under center, maybe too much time, overthinking it. Behind the line of scrimmage, gets brought down. Incomplete that time for St. John Fisher. Wealth of adjustments coming out here from St. John Fisher. Motion pre-snap as well. Oh my goodness, BradSnappa all over it there. Able to force the miss, force the incompletion. We'll sometimes see it, players spotting the open man before seeing the defender. Intentionally try to miss the defender, force an incompletion, but deny an interception. Looked like that's what happened there. BradSnappa able to force the quarterback to airmail it. That time able to do damage just under the defender's nose for the first down. Diving tackle, not enough to catch the speedster cutting over the middle there. One in the backfield here on first down. Able to get past the line of scrimmage, not much further than that. Just a 7-yard gain. Motion pre-snap to get the running back out at the line of scrimmage. Dangerous ball being airmailed. Lob pass for a 2-yard completion. Ill-advised attempt there. And St. John Fisher is lucky that one didn't go the other way. Third down now for St. John Fisher, looking to do some damage on the ground. Always the air of mystery when the quarterback is scrambling out of the pocket. The thoughts of a hit stick and a fumble recovery in the back of every defender's mind there. That time it'll be just enough yardage to move the chains for St. John Fisher. Run on 1st and 10. BradSnappa all over it. Just a 3-yard gain there. It's both sides playing a slow, methodical game. A couple yards here, a couple yards there as we're approaching the end of the first quarter. St. John Fisher at just about midfield. Another run on second. Multiple defenders waiting for that man just past the gap. 1 yard short of the sticks for St. John. Love these plays from BradSnappa. They're technically a gamble, bringing that member of the secondary right up to the line of scrimmage. When they work, it's amazing. I'd like to see him mix this in early. Able to shrug off one defender, and St. John Fisher just barely able to grab the first down. Of course, bringing in that extra defender, not quite a silver bullet, because on the run, you can still bounce it to the outside. That extra user not quite being a factor there on that run from scrimmage for St. John Fisher. And again, when Brad sneaks it in, especially when they're trying to run up the middle, they're trying to run a lot like the St. John Fisher offense has been trying to do. Can throw fits for an offense that isn't quite watching where those members of the secondary are going. To the outside, defense all over it, but not before giving up 7 through the air. Damage on the ground this time on second. One-on-one matchup. St. John Fisher able to make the first defender miss and take it to the house. Get us all tied up here at 7 apiece. So I want to say that's the longest single run, single gain on the ground in one play here so far in this one. Again, both sides have been matriculating upfield. Of course, we did see Brad get some gashes through the air. It was a touchdown through the air. That got Post University their first score of the contest. But a shrug off one defender. The rest of special teams able to bring him down at the 23. We'll take another brief transition. If we can catch the end of a fellow Post University Eagles game, we can. Miss the end of the BigSneezy game. We're going to mark it down as a W because he was up $1 billion. So we'll look to get back with BigSneezy in the first quarter before his game 2 potentially gets out of hand. He's playing Ohio State Dittos, so that mirror match is going to be a very fun one for everyone at home to try and digest. But this mirror matches always tend to be a little confusing. No confusion that time from BradSnappa. Knew where he wanted to go. Big man wide open for the short completion. Once again to the big man. Multiple defenders to bring him down. They do so just inches short of the first down. It's hard to turn these drag routes into tremendous gains downfield the same way you can with slants, but you do an excellent job of just inching your way upfield methodically. Of course, they do still have that potential as BradSnappa was able to take one of those routes for the first passing touchdown of the contest here. More damage on the ground from the sneak. Able to move the chains for BradSnappa here in this one. They'll bounce it to the outside, cut back up the middle. The defense was ready for it, just a gain of 3. Empty backfield this time for BradSnappa. No secret about where the football is going to go out on this one. And open up a window to run through. Want to see the early slide. BradSnappa able to deliver. You will happily settle for giving up the first down again. Every time the quarterback's out in the open air like that. Defenders salivating at the thought of a fumble recovery. Run that time on third, but to keep the chains moving for Post University. Hopping back to pass once more. Hauled in, just a 4-yard completion there, able to thread the needle between 2 defenders over the top and underneath. One in the backfield. Looks like user defender on the left side of your screen. BradSnappa not looking to attack the user. Was trying to go back to the well. The big fella on the right side. Triple covered that time. St. John Fisher doing everything they can. They're trying to diagnose the problem. It looks like they've identified the tight ends as a point of emphasis for BradSnappa here on this drive. 3 defenders there. Able to force the incompletion. Third and 6 now. Dropping back to pass. Multiple linemen lying in wait. BradSnappa able to deliver a dot for the first down just as the line of scrimmage was collapsing around him. A multi-step drop is just what the doctor ordered there to buy precious additional seconds for Post University. That's absolutely going to be intentional grounding. No, looked like any receiver was on the right side of the field. That is going to send BradSnappa just a bit further back here. Might have potentially wanted to take in the sack there because now it's 2nd and 20. or BradSnappa here. And once again, the line of scrimmage collapsing around him. He's going to eat the sack this time. It's a loss of 15. This set of downs not going the way Post University envisioned here, as they will need a miracle. This has been an offense that has been methodical with its matriculation. 6 yards here, 3 yards there, 4 yards here. BradSnappa is going to need his largest single play of the contest to overcome 3rd and 35. Going to go underneath, not able to turn upfield. That's the problem with these zone defenses that a lot of players like to run. You end up with members of the secondary right where these drag routes and these in routes like to converge on the sideline, so it's hard to turn upfield and do damage long range. It's going to force BradSnappa and his special teams unit out onto the field. University patience, understanding the game time and scenario. Earlier, we talked about the possession battle. It's going to be a question BradSnappa is going to have to answer here. They're going to take as much of the play clock away from St. John Fisher and this Miami Hurricane squad as possible with the patience on the punt there. Three timeouts apiece, one in the backfield for St. John Fisher. 1:13. They'll be the ones in the driver's seat here. They can take a multi-possession lead if they can get a score before halftime. Spin move to shrug off the first defender, but powered through a couple more for the first down that time. Hurry up seems to be the call for St. John Fisher here. And the benefit for Post University, they're not quite facing a squad that's able to gash up field as well. Just got to keep the football in front of you. An incompletion there is going to stop the clock that time for St. John Fisher. Potential run play incoming. You see the tight end and the running back linking up on the left side of your screen. Could be an extra protection call here. Or a run to the left sideline. BradSnappa all over it, motioning the middle linebacker, Perkins Jr. there. Just in case. Ends up being much ado about nothing. A rock and a hard place for Post University. I do love that BradSnappa was able to diagnose it, but one middle linebacker to cover two receivers. That was a blown defensive coverage. No other way to stop it, to describe it. I do love BradSnappa. They're able to at least prevent the one-play touchdown that was lurking over the top. He lives to fight another day. It'll be 1st and 10 now from the 48. Gotta prevent any more big gashes like that. St. John Fisher looking to slash upfield on the ground. Gonna force another timeout here. Already at the edge of field goal range, if not already within it. One in the backfield, multiple bodies on this right sideline if they do look to run towards the right here. You see the tight end, multiple receivers as well. A wealth of adjustments for St. John Fisher. Going to do damage to the air. Quick dump off to the running back. Post University all over it. Not quite out of bounds, so the clock going to keep running up against St. John Fisher here. They're not going to call their last timeout just yet. They want to keep it in the back pocket. Audible to a field goal if it's absolutely necessary. Possession catch to grab that last time out of the contest. And now it'll be St. John Fisher. They'll have to be careful here. You run on 1st and goal. You got to be ready to operate that hurry-up offense. Potentially spike the football to stop the game clock. Clock management still going to be so important here with 26 seconds and 0 timeouts for St. John Fisher. Hesitation under center. They're forced to rifle one through the air off the back foot, and it's hauled in for the touchdown. Just when you think there was nowhere to go, St. John Fisher throw up a prayer, and it's answered. So they take the lead here in this one, 14-7. And they'll start with the football in the 3rd quarter. sure BradSnappa had him dead to rights when we see the quarterback on the back foot. That's another scenario where defenders are beginning to salivate, lick their lips at the thought of a turnover potentially coming in. But still off the back foot, able to deliver it with power and accuracy for the score. They're sending out of the big fella, instant timeout. But once more, BradSnappa going to have to answer this question. What do they call when they need to gash up field? They have not been one to flip the field with one play here. They've struggled for these moon balls or these long runs on the ground to really materialize. It's absolutely going to hurt him here in a scenario where he's only got 11 seconds and 2 plays to work with. Dropping back to pass, no time to deliver the throw. It's incomplete. They will swap from the BradSnappa POV at halftime. Catches fellow Post University Eagles here. He's got a couple plays. Still got 2 timeouts. He can sneak into field goal range. Looking to run upfield. The early slide. And again, the BradSnappa question. It's hard to keep games close when you're just powered by a strong defensive game alone. Gotta have a couple plays in the back pocket to be able to gash downfield at its moment's notice. BradSnappa here. Hail Mary going to be the call from their own 41. Prevent, look out for St. John Fisher. Hit as he makes the throw. Incomplete. And BradSnappa in a tough spot. St. John Fisher going to be the ones to start with the football at the start of the second half. BradSnappa going to need to come up with an answer on the defensive side of the football. I do want to come away with a quick transition. Both BigSneezy and Adonis into their game 2s. I do want to catch up with them if we can help it here.
Quarterback's abilities to read the field
we'll get back on board with BigSneezy. Through an absolute barnstormer in game 1. Again, up 67-10 the last time we saw his matchup. I do apologize as we may absolutely need to flip the scoreboards here. It will take us a bit to identify which Ohio State both squads are operating here. The scoreboards are still correct. It's BigSneezy. Oh, excuse me. It's BigSneezy on the defensive side of the football. Run there for a first down. And it is not for BigSneezy. At least for Southeastern. But we do have a flip of the scoreboard in order here. As he throws and it's knocked incomplete. It nearly could have been intercepted. Just underneath the defense's nose. Southeastern able to survive. Screen pass brought down just past the first. Southeastern able to keep that drive alive.
Well, they pick up the first down there on the screen. I love the offensive line there, allowing the pass rush to get
BigSneezy in the dark in red, and the Southeastern in the white and red.
They were going to get the sack, and then they sneak the running back screen right in behind them.
Run on 1st and 10, shut down at the line, just a 1-yard gain. And only a best of 3. The BigSneezy already on series point for this week's matchup. On the left side, had numbers. Looked like 2-on-1 for just a moment. Got the cornerback getting back in the picture there, running upfield, bring down the receiver. Dropping back to pass, crushed by 2 defenders. It's a 7-yard gain. And that brief statistical overview, you saw the pass differences between these two squads. Just 3 attempts for BigSneezy. The ground game Still just as much of a factor. You cannot be diving with a quarterback into the open air. Free Willy style, nearly gets harpooned out of the air, able to survive. Southeastern hold on to the football. Quarterback goes airborne, and that's another scenario. Defenders are salivating to deliver the hit stick on a quarterback out in the open like that. Drop back on 3rd and 3. A lot of time to deliver the throw. Just what BigSneezy was lying in wait for. Once again, heads up play from him. You're not forcing the play, trying to get an interception. Just deliver the hit. Force the incompletion. One in the backfield for BigSneezy here, or for Southeastern here. Two middle linebackers dropping back, short pass underneath, and it is just enough for the first. Dropping back to pass, these routes underneath, always such a problem for defenses to try to solve. You have to try and pick your poison. A lot of it is pre-snap, scheming your CPU defenders to force your opponent into tough decisions. At time bouncing it to the outside, Southeastern trying to neutralize the CPU defender effect. Of course, a lot of players are going to operate from the linemen or the middle linebackers. When you operate outside the numbers, it makes it tough for users to play a factor. This time gap in the defense. BigSneezy at the second level, able to shut it down. Not before Southeastern jump to the 4-yard line. 1st and goal now for the SCU Fire. Run on 1st and goal. Roll out the red carpet through the A-gap for the touchdown. Much closer contest here in Game 2 in the Ohio State mirror match. To have Adonis also in an Ohio State mirror match, we are going to stick with BigSneezy for just a bit longer here as he takes the field. First play on the offensive side on stream here in Game 2.
Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. First snap of this drive will come from their own 17.
Empty backfield for Post University. Somebody's uncovered, and they're going to force the sack on the quarterback. Now BigSneezy firmly behind the sticks. 2nd and 20 now for Post University. Somebody else is uncovered. It forces an incompletion. They're sending extra defenders. BigSneezy with no time. Throw extra bodies at the quarterback. They have less presence in the secondary. And BigSneezy with no time to try to find these gaps that are left out there. Finally, some time for BigSneezy to operate. It's the comeback route for a 13-yard gain. 4-down offense is going to be the call, and BigSneezy likes what he sees. Offense is going to stay out on the field despite what would be room service field position if he comes up empty here. Once again, hands on the quarterback. Needs to rifle one to the offense for the completion and does so. Multiple sacks on the quarterback on that last set of downs. BigSneezy able to make it happen all the same. A bounce to the outside. It's a foot race outside the numbers. BigSneezy can't get there. Just a 3-yard gain. And the first time out of the contest called for Post University. Not sure which way the possession arrow flipped, but always such a big factor as we approach halftime. And a bounce to the outside. Shrug off the first defender. Stiff arm a second. Help arrives just past the 1st down marker. For Post University, we've seen BigSneezy turn multiple defenders into Swiss cheese en route to touchdowns. That time he'll have to settle for a 1st down up at the 44. Cutting across the middle of the field, crushed by the secondary, not before reaching the 29-yard line. Only one timeout remaining for Post University. Are up at Enemy territory here in the red zone. Dropping back to pass, the comeback route. Once more, a defender diving out of bounds. The only man in the airspace to stop Post University from scoring another touchdown. We saw BigSneezy eye that comeback route earlier on this drive. That time he went out of bounds, tried to cut up the sideline. Little operant conditioning there from BigSneezy. That time fakes the cut back up the sideline, goes towards the middle of the field, catches a defender somersaulting out of bounds there to go up one score with only 6 seconds remaining here in the first half. Out comes that prevent look. So it'll take just about a miracle to come away with points here in the end of this one. Brought down with 1 second left. One play touchdown now. Would be a 64-yard completion through the air for Southeastern. Rolling to the left sideline. No time to deliver the throw. Well, incomplete. And BigSneezy able to sneak into halftime up a score. So crucial as it is Southeastern University. Going to be starting with the football here in the second half. Not quite the kickoff that BigSneezy was looking for there. It is going to give Southeastern a head start. That will be our cue to depart here. Want to catch Adonis's Ohio State mirror match. I do apologize if we give anyone deja vu as we swap over to the Adonis show. This time it's, let's see if we can't identify the players here. I do believe it is Post University in the whites, which will make them on the left side here as they just kicked off the football. But we do have some scoreboard shenanigans to address this time around, actually. It does also mean Adonis is already up a score in this one on the defensive side of the field. Welcome back to the Adonis show, ladies and gentlemen, coming up with an interception. Looking to get the offense back out on the field, continue to put on the Adonis show, that high-scoring offense, those devastating passes through the air. Looking to make this a multi-score lead, dropping back to pass. A lot of room to work with. Mano-y-mano on the right side of the field. That is not a matchup you want to be taking if you're Columbia College. Just survived there at the skin of their teeth as Adonis ran into the right sideline and out of bounds. Now just 4 yards between Columbia College and giving up another touchdown. To the outside, a 3-yard gain, but shoved 1 yard short of the sticks. A run on second down, and that one's good for the score. Adonis now up 20-7, 21 after the PAT. Perfect timing from the two-way prowess. We've seen Adonis do this once already tonight. He does it so often, going from coast to coast, coming away with an interception. Just 3 plays later, punching in his 3rd touchdown of the contest. The kick is down and good. Adonis gonna stick with him on the defensive side of the ball just to give him some of that shine that he's clearly earned here. But he's got the largest lead of his Post University Eagles in his match so far, so we may swap over to a closer contest. Stopped that time on first down, just a 4-yard gain for Columbia College. Tremendous drop back for Columbia College. Enough space to deliver it right in the breadbasket of number 86 downfield, only where he can get it for the first down and more. Always got to be wary of those deep dropbacks. Can force the pocket to collapse around you a little bit earlier than you'd like. Helped by those precious seconds. Mano-y-mano in open space. Columbia be a college, forcing Adonis to hit the dirt on the first tackle and grab the first down on the way. Another drop back trying to set up the screen pass. Defense is all over it. Just a 2-yard gain here. Columbia College continuing to matriculate upfield. Nobody's open. No, there's a flag on the play. It's going to get held back. Illegal touching. I don't even really know where the foul was on the play. I couldn't quite spot it. But Adonis getting a lifeline there as the touchdown gets waved off. It gets waved off right into an Adonis interception. He's rolling down the right sideline. Nobody is catching Adonis. Getting right up to the big fella, number 77, just so we can watch him turn on the afterburners for another touchdown. For Post University, Adonis' lead in game 2 continues to grow. The PAT is up and good. That is indeed going to be our cue to swap off the Adonis show as he blows up into the largest lead of any Post University Eagle in their matchup here. In their current matchup, I would say. We will get back on board in just a moment. To the BradSnappa show, both sides all knotted up here in the final quarter of play. And it'll be Brad looking for a stop on the defensive side of the football. He wants to put up a go-ahead touchdown of his own. Play action on 1st and 10. Hands on the quarterback, going to force the incompletion. Only the check down was open there to the running back. Interesting play call there from St. John Fisher. Looked like 4 verts, a deep pass concept coming out on 1st and 10, just trying to test this BradSnappa defense. They're able to pass in stride that time. One-on-one on the left side. Diving tackle is no good. The help arrives out at the 43-yard line. Not let perfect be the enemy of good here. Don't want to overcomplicate things in the 4th quarter by trying to let them score early to give your offense more time. That's always a question that's potentially asked here to try to give yourself, put your offense in the driver's seat. Don't want to overcomplicate anything here if you're a BradSnappa. Just take what the offense is giving you here. That time, it's a 9-yard gain on the ground for St. John Fisher. Run on 1st or 2nd and 1, excuse me. And that's another instance, BradSnappa bringing a member of the secondary into the box right at the line of scrimmage. That's another way you can get beat there if you're not able to. You go down the wrong gap, you have one less defender at the 2nd level to try to shut down the running back. We've seen BradSnappa give up a couple of long runs because of just that. You have one less body at the 2nd level. One less fire extinguisher to break in case of emergency. That time through the air. Incomplete. Dangerous football. Double coverage. Batted down. Incomplete that time as well. St. John Fisher can't get anything going through the air here in the red zone. Defense dialed up a notch. Could not ask for a better time. For Post University. Dangerous football right into the defender. Take what the defense gives you. BradSnappa will happily take an interception as we approach the 2-minute timeout. Go-ahead field goal is the objective here for BradSnappa, starting at his own 11. Again, this is an offense that has been slow and steady, so they have a lot of ground to work with here. A lot of ground to make up for here. Not quite a hurry-up offense for BradSnappa. They are staying ahead of the sticks, but again, they do not have the time to be taking 6-yard gains up into field goal range. Screen pass, bobbled off of the head of the lineman and incomplete. Looked like things were lining up on the left side of the field if it just was able to make it into the running back's hands. Does stop the play clock for Post University. Tremendous drop back, rifled right in the gap. 3 defenders in the airspace. BradSnappa doing a good job to diagnose the exact spot where all 3 defenders became 0 for the completion. Threading the needle that time, still only at his own 29-yard line. The play clock still ticking. Still a lot of field to ascend up here. Trying to bounce it to the right side. It's fumbled and recovered by the St. John Fisher defense. Such a close call there. You fumble on the right sideline. Those are so difficult to grab before they go out of bounds. St. John Fisher able to do just that to force the football loose. Now it's Post University in dire straits, as St. John Fisher already well within field goal range. They're out of timeouts. It'll be up to Post University to try to win this football back here. So I imagine St. John Fisher will happily chew off all 30 seconds. No, they are going to call the run early. 7-yard gain there. Post University, BradSnappa firmly between a rock and a hard place now. Almost an impossible scenario. Needed to start calling these timeouts a couple plays ago. Of course, he couldn't. You want to get some wins on the defensive side of the football to start calling timeouts. St. John Fisher doing such a great job just matriculating upfield with that run game. They have a head start following the fumble recovery. Field goal coming early from St. John Fisher. Out comes the timeout for Post University. Maybe a little too simple from St. John Fisher to try to go away with the field goal with still 30 seconds left. You do leave some time for BradSnappa to come away with a go-ahead play of their own. They're not going to overcomplicate it. They're on 1st and 10, but out comes the field goal unit. BradSnappa going to need a miracle on special teams. No one able to block the field goal, just barely through the uprights. It's now St. John Fisher, a narrow 3-point lead. Post University going to have to shift into 5th gear here in the final 26 seconds of play to even have a chance to get in a field goal range. Again, this is an offense. Slow and steady has been the modus operandi. It's made it difficult for them to get back into this game. Love this mesh concept from a consistency standpoint. This defense that St. John Fisher have been operating at, it's been hard for BradSnappa to turn upfield. That time it is incomplete. Going to stop the play clock for Post University. But it'll be much ado about nothing unless they can come away with a miracle here. Dropping back to pass. Hauled in underneath the defense. St. John Fisher go for the interception. It'll be the last mistake they'll ever make here in game 1. BradSnappa with a go-ahead touchdown. Going for a boomer bust interception on the right side of the field. And how is that for flipping the field in one play? Mano-y-mano on the right side. We've talked about it already tonight. Those are the sorts of plays you just have to cut your losses and try to come up with a tackle. St. John going all out for the interception, and now Post University back out in front, up by 4. So the pressure on St. John Fisher entirely out of timeouts to come away with a go-ahead score of their own. A touchdown going to be the requirement here to jump back in front. And BradSnappa, I mean, just what the doctor ordered. That was the big question on our mind throughout this contest. Where are they going to find these big plays through the air? Could not ask for a better time to answer that question. A win on the defensive side of the football, going to spell GG's. No timeouts remaining for St. John Fisher. Grab out your picture phone for the score report here. 21-17 looking to be your final score. Barring absolute calamity, Post University can just kneel it down. BradSnappa going to ice in a 21-17 victory here in game 1. A narrow win for BradSnappa. Late game heroics from both sides, but it's Post University out on top here in game 1. That is going to be our cue to transition Want to catch how his fellow post-university Eagles are going here. We'll transition over to BigSneezy.
We've reached the 2-minute timeout, and time is of the essence for this offense to get things done. Big drive for this offense late.
As you hear my fellow CPU commentators, you see the scenario here. One-score game inside the 2-minute timeout. But it's post-university with a one-score lead. A wealth of time under center. Idle hands doing no good for Southeastern. It's a sack on the quarterback. They have 2 clock enabled, despite the fact that they are down a score with 3 timeouts left. I don't know how intentional that was. They might just be trying to operate as fast as possible. And BradSnappa's hype. I mean, how can you blame him with the amazing Game 1 victory? Still needs at least one more to come away with the victory, but tremendous game for him. As BigSneezy looking to be the first post-university Eagle done and dusted with his Week 2 game here. Although Adonis, it looks like he's up 49-7. Will hopefully catch his game if his opponent doesn't forfeit, which does happen, and it's another win for BigSneezy. That'll be pretty much all she wrote. 3 timeouts left for Southeastern, so just a first down between post-university BigSneezy and a win here in Week 2. BigSneezy, the only player for post-university undefeated. Only player to come away with a win in Week 1. Going to keep the undefeated record intact. Here in Week 2, aired it out just a little too high, and incompletion going to force the play clock to stop there. Still possible for Southeastern to come back here. Not going to call it probable just yet. There's a universe where it's possible here. 2 timeouts, 38 seconds left. The call still the same for BigSneezy. Needs at least 1 first down to put out the fire here at the end of the contest. Put this game on ice. Dropping back to pass. That comeback route, such a problem in one-on-one matchups. Looked like man coverage was the call for Southeastern University. Makes that comeback route such a problem. Just isolating on that left side of the field. BigSneezy able to go to the work and come away with a first down. Barring any fumble recovery shenanigans, this will be GG's. No timeout being called from Southeastern University. So a 35-28 victory for BigSneezy. This will be the first post-university Eagle to get out with a W. First match on stream here in the College Football 26 ECAC regular season. BigSneezy starting us off right with a W. GG's to BigSneezy and Southeastern University as his game is GG's. 1-score game in Game 2. We didn't catch the end of Game 1. It was an absolute blowout. Again, I cannot emphasize. Blink and you missed it. BigSneezy was up 1 billion. We get over to the Adonis show. Similarly up 1 billion here at the end of the 4th quarter. 56-7 at the moment. And again, you can harp on the up 1 billion points, but being up 1 billion can be a factor, especially for Adonis. He can't sit on an undefeated record, so point differentials can be the tiebreaker for him. So it's not necessarily like at the end of an NBA game with the shot clock off. There isn't really a respect component. Both sides understanding that even if the game is an absolute blowout, both sides got to try and keep it close for both of their sakes. Columbia College, ties could be a factor. Score differential, the tiebreaker. A huge blowout like this that they took way back in Week 2 could be the difference maker. Adonis not shy about piling on the points. He's calling timeouts on these run games. This is not... I thought they were timeouts initially coming out from Columbia College. We know this is Adonis. And continue to give space for his offense to operate. Looks like they're stuck in the mud here. It's 4th and 4 now. The last timeout is called by Adonis there. Honestly, going to be the second post-university Eagle to get out with a win here tonight on stream. Damage through the air. Columbia College able to put out the fire. Rolling down the left sideline. They're able to get this game just a little bit closer. Quarterback diving in. The running back trying to get behind him. Nobody catching the secondary. It's a 71-yard pick six touchdown for Columbia College. No, excuse me, for Adonis and Post University. I was an unfortunate victim of the Ohio State mirror match shenanigans. But it was Adonis piling on a pick six. No shame in Adonis's game. I mentioned him, he was indeed the one calling the timeouts on defense, which makes a bit more sense. But there he is coming out in the onside kick. Despite the mirror match misidentification from myself, the name of the game for Adonis, there's no secret to it. You got to try to pile on points here. Loaded backfield QB Neal looks to be the call. No, it'll be a power formation for Columbia College, trying to get a couple more points on the board. Call still the same for them. Cannot look to slow down here, lest you kick yourself at the end of week 7 if score differential becomes a factor. Dropping back to pass. Yards after the catch. Not going to grab many of those. They are going to get a first down that time, though. Through the air for Columbia College. Dropping back to pass. Columbia College nowhere to go. The lineman coming away with it. And another pick six at 0-0-0. It's a big fella foot race down the left sideline. Adonis does get brought down. He'll have to settle for 64-7. Took a licking in week 1, excuse me. Started 0-1 coming into week 2. A tremendous return to form here. Adonis able to take the field, able to deliver 2 blowout victories for Post University. He gets back in the win column. Wasn't going to be too long before we saw him on that side of a tremendous blowout, as he is the next Post University Eagle to leave the field with a W tonight on stream. Only going to leave one more here. We take the field with BradSnappa and St. John Fisher. We will once again have scoreboard shenanigans as we try to identify who's who. Run on 1st and 10 here on the ground. Both sides just now taking the field. We do indeed have to flip the scoreboards. Another run on 1st and 10 once more. Different result that time, just a 1-yard gain. Dropping back to pass. Somebody's uncovered at the line of scrimmage, able to beat their matchup. A tremendous sack on the quarterback. Now 3rd and 23. For Post University. Have their work cut out for them early on in this one. Multiple audibles, able to force the secondary back just a bit further this time. Gonna isolate the one-on-one. The toe tap is hauled in for the first down. Once again, another play. Another big shot downfield. BradSnappa doing an excellent job of just shifting gears when he's able to turn up another level when he's needed these big completions downfield. It's a big question mark we had for him going into this season. Dropping back to pass. Dangerous football. Lucky it wasn't intercepted. BradSnappa fortunate to survive through 3rd and 10 now. With how he was calling plays last semester, really does look like he's expanded the playbook, expanded his passing game horizons, especially through the air. These deep shots downfield adds another level to the passing game. Dropping back to pass. The dump off to the running back is picked off. Be a foot race downfield. The defender finally brought down at the 35. In this game, a much lower scoring affair than our other two contests. So every score, every drive downfield, so important. Again, these are two sides that are operating at a much more methodical pace than the other four teams we've seen tonight. That time just a 4-yard gain. 2nd and 6 now, dropping back to pass. Post University's all over these drag routes. Quarterback clobbered behind the line of scrimmage and incomplete. Able to buy just enough time covering these drag routes, these outs and in routes. Usually good things happen for your defense. Run on 3rd and 6. Shrugs off the first defender, and it's a first down up to the 16. One in the backfield now for St. John Fisher. Multiple defenders on that double move on the left sideline. Just a 3-yard gain that time. And the run blown up. Somebody's uncovered. It's a TFL loss of 2 that time. Post University delivering the hurt on the defensive side of the football. For St. John Fisher already in field goal range, where we've seen many a player look a gift horse in the mouth, go for it on 4th down, and then come away with 0. This time, don't got to worry about any special teams shenanigans. Cutting up field yards after the catch for the opening touchdown of the contest. PAT is up, and it is good. Patience, the call from St. John Fisher here. A de facto timeout on the kickoff. Taking some extra breathing room, taking some time to get a sip of water. Never a bad time to do just that. Gotta stay hydrated in these contests. Gotta stay well rested. Feels silly to say, but of course you cannot underestimate the physical component to these esports. Dropping back to pass, and there's a man on the left side of the field entirely uncovered. BradSnappa, a 1-play touchdown drive for Post University. Get us all knotted back up at 7 apiece. Love to see that from Post University. That was another point of emphasis, I thought, from last semester, where we saw him looking for these concept routes, these safer routes over the middle of the field and looking off wide open defenders. BradSnappa that time not looking a gift horse in the mouth, spotting a wide open man streaking down the left side of the field. Love what I'm seeing from BradSnappa right now. Quick touchdown drive. You cannot underestimate the importance of those in a game that has been at such a trotting, methodical pace as this one has been so far. It could be a change of pace for BradSnappa here in game 2. Shedding off a couple defenders there on the return. Still just starting at the 25 this time. That'll be St. John Fisher. Wonder how they'll respond. Again, a 1-play touchdown coming out from BradSnappa. Are they going to feel pressure to try to match that pace? Have numbers on the left side of the field. Multiple defenders diving, trying to trip up 80 here. Finally brought down at the 34-yard line. Nice concept from St. John Fisher. Able to scheme a numbers advantage on that left side. First and 10 now over the middle of the field. Pass is hauled in. Up to the 16 now. And St. John Fisher is indeed turning up the heat, turning up the speed here in game 2 as well. It's both players finally starting to get a rhythm, starting to get a feel for how both sides like to operate. Looks like a 4 verts look and multiple deep routes. That's an interesting play call from St. John Fisher. It's harder to operate these longer pass concepts in the red zone. Out at the 16. See the result of exactly that there on 1st and 10. Thrown a little bit too early. The route just no time to develop. And it's incomplete. The 2nd and 10 from the 16. No time elapsed on the play clock following the incompletion. BradSnappa trying to bring a member of the line of scrimmage back into the box there. Try to have an extra defender for these short routes. Will be a delay of game. St. John Fisher operating from 2nd and 15. It's run game gonna be the call. Is that a diving lineman that I just saw there? Big fella diving across the screen. Just the mass able to slow down the running back and brought down. It's a 2-yard gain there, or a 7-yard gain, excuse me. St. John Fisher able to pick up the remaining 8 on 2nd down. Jump back out in front here in game 2. Another short possession on the offensive side of the football. This time for St. John Fisher. We've usually seen games get lower scoring as series progress. Especially as you approach the best of 5s in grand finals in the 3rd place game. As teams are forced onto tertiary teams. And everybody really knows the sorts of offenses they're trying to run. I see the opposite happen here is we already have 14-7. It's not even the end of the 1st quarter. Coastal University taking no chances. He's waiting. BradSnappa's waiting for the formation to come out for St. John Fisher. Not trying to come out in the wrong return formation. And then St. John Fisher come out with a squib kick or an onside kick shenanigans. Gotta respect the patience from BradSnappa there, not to just autopilot the kickoff return formation there. Empty backfield for Post University. No secret about where this football's got to go on 1st and 10. Out in the shotgun here at the 25. Dropping back to pass. Dangerous football. The secondary comes underneath for the interception. Just a little wide. And so the secondary is able to take a couple steps into the field, make a play on the football. Would have been a really close 50-50 ball if it was just the one-on-one to consider. Secondary outnumbering the wide receiver that time. On 1st and 10, no, it's play action. Coastal University bringing in an extra defender. Trying to shut down the QB scramble, but they're out to the right sideline. Only one play from scrimmage for the touchdown. St. John Fisher continuing to extend their lead. St. John Fisher going coast to coast that time. An interception right into the one-play touchdown drive. Still a lot of college football 26 to be played between these two squads. Cannot have your reservations about a game 3 just yet. But the question we've been asking all night for BradSnappa still It's going to be forced to be asked for the rest of this contest. They're down multiple scores. This is not a scenario where you can matriculate upfield, play that run game. How is BradSnappa going to get back in this? Still a lot of time left, but we've seen many a player take entire quarters to put points up on the board. So if St. John Fisher really do turn it down, shift into first gear, shift into neutral, maybe put it in park, could arrive into a close fourth quarter in a hurry. Pass is caught underneath the defense. It's a 7-yard gain. You don't have to worry about flipping the whole playbook upside down, ripping it up, and putting it back together just yet. But you absolutely do not want to see any more slowdown. Cooler heads prevailing that time for BradSnappa, just going to rifle it out of bounds. 3rd and 3 now for Post University. One in the backfield now. The zone coverage from St. John Fisher. There's multiple defenders. You got folks in the box. You got the cornerbacks out at the numbers. That's the zone look you got to come in if you are going to be trying to shut down these out routes, these mesh concepts. St. John Fisher put it on the clinic. They're not letting BradSnappa be comfortable. That's how he likes to get in rhythm. Trying to do damage over the middle this time. It's another interception for St. John Fisher. St. John Fisher in this defense just has BradSnappa all out of rhythm. To look to continue to pile on points, a run on the first play from scrimmage. Have a chance to make it 28-7 at the end of the first quarter. Run on 1st and 10, that time just a 2-yard gain. We'll bring about the end of the first quarter. St. John Fisher out to a tremendous start. BradSnappa with a lot of questions to answer. The biggest one of all, how is he going to get back into this game? He's facing problems on both sides of the football here. Now on defense at his own 17. Dropping back to pass. The scramble isn't open. Got to take the check down. Towards that left sideline. Just a 2-yard gain there for St. John Fisher. Of course, the St. John Fisher Cardinals already in field goal range. If you can try to force an interception, at least force a field goal, you'll be happy here. If you're BradSnappa, got to come away with a stop on the defensive side of the football at all costs. And to keep the touchdown at bay, field goal is going to be the call here for St. John. Kick is up and it is no good. They had a kick go left in game 1. It narrowly made it in. This time the kick is no good and BradSnappa's come away with a defensive stop. Could be the lifeline to jumpstart this team here in the second quarter. Dropping back to pass, rifles it to the middle linebacker. Looked like the linebacker was going to drop back. Instead, he steps into the throw. It's another takeaway for St. John Fisher. Blink and you miss it. They're right back where they started at the 14 now. It's just a tough game for BradSnappa here. Still certainly winnable. Another touchdown piled in for St. John Fisher. At what point are you going to charge it to the game and just think about game 2? We didn't see any early forfeits, despite the massive deficits that his fellow post-university Eagles were putting up on the competition. Got to balance two concepts here. The mental tilt of playing in a blowout versus the mental fortitude of just trying to play yourself back in rhythm. BradSnappa now in a pretty safe environment. Not really feeling too bad if you lose a game that's like this. So you can try to shake things up from a playbook perspective, from a concept perspective on defense. BradSnappa, if you're trying to look at it from a glass half full perspective, the world is his oyster right now. Empty backfield once more for Post University. Passed outside the numbers. It is an 8-yard gain. Through a couple defenders there after the catch. Once again, no secret where this football's got to go. It's shotgun look for Post University. Superb placement on the football there from BradSnappa. Able to find the leverage inside the man defender there. Ball up to the 41-yard line for Post University. Want to see more plays like that at this point. You love the safe yardage, but you got to try to get a couple wins over the top of the defense. Looked like one was getting ready to be airmailed over the top. Delivery canceled that time. Incomplete, and we have second down. Snappa once again spotting a man with a step on the defense. Touchdown for Post University. Another quick possession on offense for BradSnappa. Did an excellent job on that drive. Able to spot his receivers with leverage laterally. A speed advantage right up the field. 4 plays, 42 seconds. More quickness like that, and BradSnappa could be back in this game in a hurry. Still needs to come away with a win or two on the defensive side of the football. Still plenty of time to do just that. One in the backfield here for St. John Fisher. Operating from their own 25. A wealth of drag routes. It's the curl underneath the defense that comes away with the reception. Dropping back to pass once more. Dangerous ball. It is hauled in. Just outside of the defender's reach. Or the first down and more, up to the 48 now. Run on 1st and 10. The first down and more. Nobody else at the second level going to catch the running back. It's a touchdown for St. John Fisher. They've done such a good job at getting to the second level. Tends to be where the magic can happen. If you can break past that line of scrimmage. They already have a speed advantage. On some of the secondaries, they shift to try to catch up to you. And that time it's St. John on the ground doing damage for another touchdown. Fair catch and a start at the 25 for Post University here. Still a 2-minute timeout. Still a lot of this quarter left to play. It is going to be St. John Fisher starting with the football in the third. Possession battle magnified here in this one as Post University trying to claw their way back into this game. No shame in Post University's game. It's an empty backfield and a shotgun look. No secret about where this football needs to go. Post University brought down. It's a loss of 5 that time for BradSnappa. There's no one open down there. Had plenty of time to survey the field. Didn't look like anybody was winning their matchups out there in space. Dropping back to pass. This middle linebacker 0 has been a problem. It's another interception over the middle. This time it's a pick 6 for St. John Fisher. And it looks like a deceptively open box. It's just been one middle linebacker that's been a problem on all of these interceptions every time. BradSnappa looks like he has openings in the box. You just see one defender, but every time the user's been a problem. with that one-on-one matchup. BradSnappa forced to throw it early because St. John Fisher has defenders outside the numbers. He doesn't have time to let the play develop outside. He hasn't been able to burn him over the line of scrimmage either. It's such a rock and a hard place scenario for BradSnappa to be in here. That safe play, that comfort formation, these comfort concepts just haven't been working for him here in game 2. Forces him to shrink the playbook, and we're still here in the first half. Hopping back to pass, does have a numbers advantage, had a man upfield, not able to deliver any blocks. Instead, receiver brought down at the 35. One in the backfield now for Post University. Once again, a numbers advantage. This time the block is laid down, forcing a foot race on the left sideline, but it's going to create another nice gain up to the 26-yard line. That is going to bring about the 2-minute warning here for Post University. Time certainly not on their side. The good thing for BradSnappa is that this is absolutely a game where the fix is incredibly simple. You can charge it to the game. It's going to be hard for anybody to win a game in this league, throwing 5 interceptions in a contest. You can really boil down the cause of defeat to one stat here, which is good. If you're able to cut down on that in game 3, it's absolutely a different contest. Dropping back to pass, a wealth of space to run through there, and another touchdown for Post University. When they've had time to deliver these throws and they've had open space for receivers to run through, it's done good things. St. John Fisher doing an excellent job of forcing Post University into these short down scenarios, catching them unaware when they're trying to run their pet plays, these short pet plays, these drag routes, these short curl routes, these mesh concepts. But elsewhere, BradSnappa's done an excellent job of doing damage through the air. Dropping back to pass, it hits the defender's helmet and incomplete. Would have gone all the way for 6. Post University settling for 2nd and 10 now. Scramble, Post University all over it. It'll be 3rd down and 10 now. One in the backfield, thrown into no man's land. Too easy for Post University, intercepting the ball through the air there. And BradSnappa with a chance to pack on a couple more points at the end of the half. Want to watch X on the left side of your screen here. Has been a problem in one-on-one. Now forcing the rollout, could be a large scramble. Shoved out of bounds. You want to be running along the sideline if you're scrambling as a quarterback. That way, if you do get the hit stick delivered and you fumble, you have a high likelihood of it going out of bounds and it being much ado about nothing. So I love the scramble there from BradSnappa. Dropping back to pass once more. This is a defense that is not looking to give up any more through the air. You can see it. They're keeping the box light. You're only sending 4 at the quarterback. You're trying to outnumber these receivers downfield, and that time BradSnappa throws it into double coverage and incomplete. Dropping back to pass just in the breadbasket where only number 2 can haul it in for the touchdown. BradSnappa able to spot the zone coverages converging. It's too little too late for St. John Fisher. And BradSnappa still a 2-score game. Not going quietly into the night here. A much higher scoring affair here in game 2. For BradSnappa able to keep up the pace that St. John Fisher set here. Still needs to come away with more wins on the defensive side of the football, but we already saw one interception earlier on in this second quarter. And this has been a long 5 minutes for both squads. Both sides turning up the heat quickly in game 2. Dropping back on 1st and 10. It's the back out of the backfield for the first down and more up to the 42. Run on 1st and 10. A lot of blocks being laid down. One post-University Eagle diving tackle to bring him out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Thought it would have been all she wrote on the ground. Tremendous blocks at the line of scrimmage at the next level. Roll out the red carpet on the ground there for St. John Fisher. Post-University is barely able to survive here out at the 2-yard line. Quarterback scramble. Sees parting for the big man under center. It's a rushing touchdown for St. John Fisher for the quarterback. The lead does go back up to 21 following the quick response for the St. John Fisher Cardinals. Offense for Post-University going to get started at the 25 here. Not risking any time off the clock for any special team shenanigans. The game plan is simple for BradSnappa. If he has any hope, he needs points and in a hurry. Had numbers on that side of the field. No blocks being laid down. And the wide receiver out at the 40. Dropping back to pass out of the shotgun once more. Quick slant. You deliver it early. You don't let the middle linebacker make a mess of the play. He is the one who brings down the receiver, but not before Post-University get the completion and the first down. Once again, damage underneath is the call. Directly out of bounds, and that's what we mentioned. You're going to fumble. You want to do it right at the sideline. Goes out of bounds, and Post-University retain possession. Could be Y on the left side of your screen open. Post-University don't deliver the throw right as the C's part. I'd have had a window somewhere there, but the timing isn't perfect. Post-University doesn't want to take their chances. Cannot blame them in this scenario here. Have to be perfect for the rest of this game to have a shot. Perfect may very well be the call. Hauled in up to the 7. Out comes a timeout for Post-University. Just gunslinging under center. 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, but 5 interceptions. Everybody's catching the football. Pass is caught. It's a 6-yard completion up to the 1-yard line. Multiple bodies in the backfield. It's a QB sneak for the touchdown for Post-University. As the high scoring affair continues. Definitely the highest combined score we've seen in any of the 6 matches we've watched tonight. At least by average between both teams. Of course, we mentioned BigSneezy putting up 67 points in their Game 1 victory. In a massive blowout, but both sides doing their fair share of scoring here in Game 2. It'll be St. John Fisher looking to haul it out of the backfield. They'll be well short of that fair catch distance out at the 18-yard line. Running play, no blocks that time. Post-University able to find the gap. That'll be a gain of 0. Last timeout called for Post-University. Not really a chance to take the football back if St. John Fisher don't want them to here with 9 seconds and 3 timeouts of their own to work with. Of course, an interception could be one way to force the football back. And Post University a pick 6 touchdown to get this lead that much closer. Blink and you'll miss it, ladies and gentlemen. But BradSnappa refusing to go away quietly. 49-42 now is your score as we approach halftime. Basically, the only way Post University was scoring points at the end of the half. BradSnappa able to find a way. The one universe where he was scoring points at the end of the half. We're in that timeline right now. Onside kick is hauled in by St. John's. They're not quite in field goal range, so they will need a one-play touchdown. They're going to go for it either way. This is going to be a long one for St. John Fisher. I believe it's going to be a 52-yarder. No, excuse me. Looks like it'll be a 50-yarder for St. John Fisher. This will be the longest field goal of the contest. We've already seen them miss one from inside the red zone. And this one wide right. Do not underestimate that Heisman difficulty. This is not your standard field goal kick sliders. St. John Fisher has demonstrated that plenty. Multiple missed field goals, and they could be the difference maker in this one. It's BradSnappa now going to be starting on the defensive side of the football. But a couple of missed field goals, and it's only a one-score game. Or Post University in the second quarter. We were humdrum here in the booth thinking about game 3. Thinking about charging it to the game and taking an early forfeit. But BradSnappa putting on his hard hat, taking his lunch pail, and going to work, whittling down this deficit. It's at the precipice of the mountain. Not quite tied up. Just down one score. Run on 1st and 10, and it's just a couple yards gained that time. Another run, no, it's play action. Hit as he delivers the throw, and it's incomplete. One in the backfield this time for St. John Fisher. Already delivered play action on 2nd down. Dangerous football right where Post University was lying in wait. Middle linebacker just got to put their hands up for the interception. No, excuse me, that's the cornerback, number 9. Multiple defenders above the line of scrimmage. Of course, the middle linebackers behind the linemen and the cornerbacks able to bottle up these short routes. Dangerous ball short of his receiver. St. John Fisher come away with an interception of their own. And BradSnappa going to remain on the precipice. Could have had a one-play touchdown. The delivery was not quite there. St. John Fisher able to get underneath it. Close but no cigar for BradSnappa. They'll remain one score down. And that score could be opening it up in a hurry. The big run on 1st and 10 for St. John Fisher there. Another run on 1st and 10. The C's not as parted this time. It will be another 1st down just up to the 25 now for St. John Fisher. They've just been strolling their way upfield on this drive. Jet sweep, no, running it right up the middle. Defense is there. Going to give up a 7-yard gain on the ground. BradSnappa just has to continue to muck up this defensive possession. The more plays you're forcing St. John Fisher to have to call on this drive, the more opportunities. St. John Fisher have not been running a spotless offense. They've had their fair share of turnovers as well, especially as we've gotten deeper into the contest. Try to use these longer drives to your advantage. Every time they go to the air is an opportunity for BradSnappa to get more fingerprints on the football. Another run, this time on 2nd down. St. John Fisher trying to avoid putting the football in the air if they can help it. You see the yardage differential there. Alabama on the St. John Fisher side going on the ground almost twice as often as they're trying to go through the air. All right, now St. John Fisher bottled up on the ground, 3rd and 6. Would not be surprised if they go back to the well, try to do damage on the ground here. Instead, no, a pass is going to be the call out to the back. From the backfield, spin move for the first down and more up to the 8-yard line. So even when they do damage through the air, the running back is the primary target that time for St. John Fisher. And back to the well, more damage on the ground. It's a 4-yard gain. One in the backfield once more for St. John Fisher. Multiple middle linebackers, multiple defenders. Look like they're sending 5. There is still a gap for St. John Fisher to roll through for the touchdown. You struggled that time to bottle up the run game whatsoever. That man on your screen there, the running back, number 26, an absolute problem on that drive. 18 rushing attempts. That is absurd. 200 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. A ground game for the ages. They're doing their best BigSneezy impression. No Wildcat, but so much damage on the ground for St. John Fisher. Trying to avoid the throw at all costs. BradSnappa has forced bad scenarios repeatedly for St. John Fisher. Batting down balls, coming away with interceptions, hands on the quarterback. There's been problems for St. John Fisher when they've had to go through the air. Do their damage on the ground. The PAT narrowly makes it in after a long touchdown drive. After what was such a quick back and forth second quarter. A sigh of relief on a long touchdown drive there for St. John Fisher. BradSnappa, the modus operandi still exactly the same. You got to score and quickly. You have to go down gunslinging here in this one. Still down 2 scores, despite the tremendous strides they've made to try to battle back into this lead. Quick drop back, 4-yard gain before being shoved to the ground there. BradSnappa not looking to settle for short completions, and lucky to get away with an incompletion on that time on second down. Instant replay is going to cut off, but it looked like a defender just missed the quarterback on the diving tackle there. Curl route going to reset down in distance for Post University. That's a sigh of relief if I'm BradSnappa there. You caught a break. You got to make good on it now. Continue to do damage upfield. To find the gap in the defenders. The first down and more into enemy territory at the 34 now. Empty backfield. One-on-one on the right sideline. User defender going to break it up. Incomplete. BradSnappa continuing to go down gunslinging here in the second half. Shotgun formation once more. Just underneath the defender. Could have been a problem. Instead, it's a first down for Post University. Back to pass once more. Trying to get underneath the defense. The secondary ready for that one. Incomplete. 2nd and 10. You run into limited airspace as you get into the red zone. BradSnappa unafraid. Going to deliver a strike through the air. It's another touchdown for Post University. Just not afraid to come out in that similar look, similar formation, out in the shotgun for so much of that drive. Just staring, waiting for St. John Fisher to try to make an adjustment and make a mistake on the defensive side of the football. (56-49) your score right now. A very close game. BradSnappa very happy to be in this position, I'm sure. Down multiple scores. I believe he's currently at a 6 interception game. So he's in a very good position right now. Still down. But this game could have gotten out of hand in a hurry. BradSnappa now only 1 score away from getting us all tied up. Having tackle going to be no good. Multiple defenders in the airspace. Second one trips him up at the 36. Run to the outside. Defense is ready for it. Just a gain of 2 that time. More damage through the air is the call. Or St. John Fisher. Multiple defenders lying in wait. Going to force the possession catch for safety. Didn't want to risk any physicality after the catch as we approach the final quarter of play. Time is running out for Post University. We've had such a great game despite what the stat sheet will tell you. Again, we're just a possession battle. So many of Post University's possessions ended in interceptions. It's hard to overcome that. They have battled through that adversity. Just a 1-score game here late in the 4th. And 4-down football is the call for St. John Fisher. Not playing conservative despite the looming turnover on downs. Just enough for the first up at the 49. St. John Fisher staying ahead of the curve. Just by a couple yards there. The offense gets a fresh set of downs. Run on 1st and 10. It's bottled up. BradSnappa trying to bring a couple of players into the box. No extra help necessary. Just a 2-yard gain that time on 2nd. Third and short for St. John Fisher. Dangerous football. That was a user defender in the airspace. St. John Fisher getting away with that one. The pass is hauled in just short of the marker. Formation seems to be flipping here. 1 in the backfield. For St. John Fisher. Run is the call. Just enough for the first. So close yet so far away for Post University here. Multiple 4th down completions on this drive for St. John Fisher. Run on 1st and 10. Should be right down at the line of scrimmage. No gain that time. St. John Fisher happy to chew clock. No chew clock enabled for St. John Fisher. They could speed run us to the 2-minute warning. But time continuing to elapse as normal for now. Possession catch for the 8-yard gain. Gonna make it hard for Post University to make an impact on the football. That physicality not as effective when you're going for those possession catches. Run on 3rd down. 1st down has been acquired. Throwing off multiple defenders. And the running back continues to be an unstoppable force for St. John Fisher. The 4th touchdown of the contest for their running back. Up 63-49 with just over 2 to play. Ball is brought in at the 25. If anyone could make this comeback happen, it'll be BradSnappa, who, if you ask me, should be staring down a much larger deficit than he's facing at the moment. He's done such a good job at responding after facing these scores. That time, just a 9-yard completion. Time to deliver the throw, but nobody open. Hit as he makes the throw finally, and it's incomplete. No room to operate out there. All the receivers bottled up that time. Third and 1 should be simple enough to keep this drive alive. Completion just over the line of scrimmage. Going to grab a fresh set of downs. Able to find a receiver. The secondary able to get back in the picture. It's incomplete. Looked like a runaway touchdown. Speed out of the free safety there to knock that one down. The difference maker. A moon ball down the left sideline. Multiple defenders once more, and it's incomplete. And we've said it all game, but absolutely here under the 2-minute warning. No secret where this football has to go for St. John Fisher. He's got these safeties dropping back heavy. Able to take advantage that time. Able to throw underneath the free safety and over the top of that first level. Rolling out to his right, throwing cross body to the open man. Diving into the air, I believe that's going to be waved back. Illegal forward pass. So that one is going to get waved back. 2nd and 14 now for Post University. With the concepts they're running, you want to have more space than not. But you wonder at what point does it become too much to bear. I think we found that point, ladies and gentlemen. Another interception for St. John Fisher. And that may be all she wrote on this high-scoring game, too. So at this point, it is just a matter of time before St. John Fisher get us all tied up at 1 game apiece. Play fake on 2nd down. Up to the 31 that time. Some pre-snap motion for St. John Fisher. More play action for the Cardinals. Rolling out to the left side of the field. Quick dive. Put away any fumble recovery hopes for Post University there. Run on 2nd. It's bottled up. It's a loss of 1. Another run on 3rd. That one bottled up all the same. The last of Post University's timeouts is called there. St. John Fisher 3 yards away from calling this game GG's. And the pass is going to be hauled in. Just narrowly surviving. Almost hands on the quarterback. Instead, it'll be victory formation for St. John Fisher here. And 49-63 is your final score. I thought both sides were going to come into a meek, low-scoring affair following that tight Game 1 victory. Both sides coming out gunslinging. Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. A pivotal Game 3. Both sides wanting to get back in the win column when we return. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we have an update from Brad's impending game 3. Post University going to be the benefit of a match 3 forfeit victory. So BradSnappa battling through the crucible of the first 2 games. We were tied up at 1 apiece. His opponent does forfeit game 3. So BradSnappa does end up in the win column here in week 2 and for the regular season overall. So big GGs to him, but that'll do it for tonight's post-university action. All 3 post-university Eagles ending up in the W column. My name has been Sandwich. I appreciate y'all joining me. Hopefully we'll be catching more of these dubs throughout the regular season. Until then, y'all have an amazing night. We hope to see y'all soon.